What in the ever-living fuck are you doing, bro? Like, you're driving like a fucking ape. Wah. If you have a problem with me, mute me. I really don't care. Wah.
You don't get thrown right into it much quicker than this. Starting off with qualifying, Alton Park. This is the Porsche 992 Cup, in case you're blind. And this was my first qualifying lap. You get 2 of them. The first one does not go to plan. Pretty quickly end up in the wall and actually spinning back onto the track, but that obviously has destroyed our run. Now, Joey is also in this race, and he is doing qualifying at the same time as me. His qualifying is not going too well either, as he is struggling to keep the car on track, and he's actually going to end up not setting a lap. So he's pulling over here, and that means he's going to start from the back. This is my second lap, so my last attempt to try and get a qualifying lap, and I knew that it would help me a lot to have a qualifying lap. But Joey's starting from the back. This was the last race of the week on Alton Park, and I decided, let's pull over and let's start from the back with him. So there's everybody else gridding up, and we're literally like on the downhill slope of the final corner. Now, it was very important to me that I let Joey know here that we needed to be safe, because, I mean, if we fuck this up, we're losing like 150 IR or something ridiculous. So we had a long talk about being safe. And then the race started. Lap number 1, let's get underway. Everything immediately is going to go to the wind as we get a really good launch, and you can't just like not do anything with that launch. So up the inside of 3 people, Joey's following us through. That was not a safe move. Locking up my tires as I barely found space in between those other 2 guys for a very late move. Here's Joey's view of that. Just kind of nuzzled my way through there. Joey does end up getting separated as he's caught behind car 24 there, who we just about take out. Just a couple of different angles of us almost killing ourselves and some other people. Car number 12 on the inside for this corner, outside for the true corner coming up. He's going to back out, wants nothing to do with that. Few people are dying off to the side as well. These 2 guys and a couple of others. We'll cover that in more detail. That was about 4 positions. And it was a pretty successful race start. Now, you may have actually seen this race through Joey's eyes. So my purpose is going to be to cover briefly my race, and then we're going to go back and look at some absolute ridiculous chaos and just absurd voice comms that was happening during this race. It was actually happening right now, but I drive with my mic muted because I don't want to hear that when I'm fighting through the group, which, as we're saying that, around the inside of the carousel for car number 22, that'll move us up into P10. So I think we're up 11 or 12 positions so far. We're not even halfway around the first lap. They're side by side ahead of us going into the chicane. This could open up some space for us, and it really does, but I decided to overslow my car instead of possibly killing myself and car number 18, who gets a horrible run out of there. And we're going to have to check back in at just 1 second because reversing back on board with Joey, you've seen it probably in his other video, but what a fucking dive. Holy fuck. Like, from so far downtown, I don't think he wanted to make that type of dive, but sometimes the guys ahead are just overslowing to the point where it's dive or it's just run into the back of them, and I think he did a good job there at not killing that guy, but obviously that guy was pretty taken off guard, and as they go around the next corner, he's going to get on the mic with some words to say to Joey.
What the fuck was that dive on, Joey?
I remember that catching Joey off guard in the moment, and I thought it was hilarious, but a clean move, fair to him. Around the outside, now this is back on board with us, of car number 18 through the double right-hander, as he just seems to have zero confidence in going too wide there. And there's Joey, so he's continuing to follow us through the group. Looks like he not quite able to follow us through that second car, but I mean, he's still basically in the fight for position with us, only half a second behind us. Lap number 2, I believe this is the car in P3 who is going to make a crucial error onto the straight, losing traction into the wall, and he will be rejoining the track as we come around that corner. Not too much longer, just about killing the guy ahead of us, but leaving space on the outside as he kind of has to, which is very sad. Joey gets caught in a kind of awkward place there, but does squeeze that position out, so that'll put us up into P8 now. And as quick and kind of stupid as a lot of these positions look, and honestly a lot of them are, like, we're not doing much. Starting in the back like this is not something I like to do. I feel like it doesn't really yield you much of anything except for entertainment, I suppose. I was having a very good time during this race, but I didn't feel very productive. That is to say that we will have a couple of really good fights, unsuspected, or fights that I didn't expect. Some of them almost spanning an entire lap, so I'm really excited to show you guys those ones. But in the meantime, still kind of just picking up positions from people who don't quite seem to have this track down, their confidence in this track down. Putting another car between myself and Joey, as he is going to have to get a move on soon if he wants to continue to move forward with us. Onto lap number 3, and we're up into P7. Harrison Brinker, the next guy up on the chopping block, about just underneath a second away from us, and soaking up that slipstream all of the way towards the carousel, where we now find ourselves within half of a second, and another very long run until the next corner, which is the chicane. So being this close is going to yield us even more free time, and on top of that, he's not too far from the car ahead of him, which was my true focus. It's always the car ahead of the car ahead of me, where my eyes are. Now, Joey has found his way past one of those cars behind us, so only, I think this is car number 20, separating himself from me, and out of the kind of chicane area of the track. Car number 20 just with a really abysmal run. Moving to the inside for the next corner, Joey has a pretty big advantage, and 20 wants nothing to do with that. He's going to back out, try and minimize his time loss. Smart driving from him. And this car ahead of us is actually catching the car ahead of him. So we're in a really good situation where this guy seemed to be quick enough to possibly catch these guys, which would be pretty big for us. As having a 3-car battle directly ahead of us opens up a lot of opportunities for us to find a way through and pick up positions with as little effort as possible. So I wasn't trying to do anything too crazy to this guy specifically. I was really thinking about the long game a little bit here. However, I'm open, of course, to things happening, and as we exit onto the straight, not quite sure what happened to him there. Maybe he went a little bit deep and waited on his throttle, but a really bad run, and he's going to back out before the kink. So we move up into P6, looking at chasing down the top 5 now. We have Simone and Bati Silva up ahead of us, and then P3 is 3 seconds up the road. So that's kind of on the back of my mind right now. A podium finish would be just about as much as I could ask for, starting from the back as we did. But the focus has to currently be on the car ahead, as much as I will allow myself to. These guys seemed like they were kind of on each other's tail over the last lap or so, and I'm pretty sure they saw me coming up through the relative and knew that it was only a matter of time before I got involved, hopefully pressuring the Dynaco car here into wanting to make a move sooner rather than later to put a car between himself and me. And it looks like as they go through that final corner, I don't know if you just saw, but a really bad run from the Red Bull car, who now finds himself on the inside fighting for position on lap number 5, and Dynaco might have gotten that one done. He has the inside now for the bottom of this hill leading onto the straight, and I kind of try and keep pressure on the inside, but I cut my way out to try and find a good exit, and we do actually end up finding that space as we're able to cut onto the racing line for the exit, moving past car number 21, and it seems like this position is done as he backs out towards the kink, but it is very, very far from done, as you will see in just a moment. He's got eyes on me, and really peculiar situation about to break out here as we head towards the chicane. I didn't get the best run, but I have the slipstream. This guy ahead of me has no slipstream. However, before I can try and make a decision, the car behind me, car number 21, is going to pull to the outside to attack me, so I can't really move to the left now. I've got this guy ahead of me kind of stopping me from going anywhere, so I have to slow down. It allows 21 to get side by side around the outside, and the exit of the little chicane area, we're going to go through on the inside, leave him space enough that he actually gets a really good run out, and we're losing the car ahead at this point, but this position is pretty important to me. I feel like if we got caught behind him here, it could hold us back for Lord knows how long. Again, through the double right, we're going too wide. We're on the inside this time, though, and that is going to allow him a better exit, but we have the inside for the final corner. I'm going to be pretty assertive on my brakes here late and get a nose ahead, and then on the exit, he actually loses grip, ends up going side by side with car number 6 behind, so Joey's stuck looking at the battle that's happening in front of him as he crosses on to the next lap, and it looks like the car on the inside is going to be the winner of this battle. Joey may be able to pick up some pieces here, as it looks like they're going to be going side by side at the bottom of the hill. So if I were Joey, yep, stay wide, cut down, take the racing line as much as you can, and just ride that exit all of the way down the very long straight. He's not actually able to ride it very far because this guy does really smart move, honestly, moving to the inside to kill Joey's run, try and pit Joey against the car on his outside, but the car on the outside backs out, and he seems to be playing the long game, hoping that Joey will fight this guy and maybe crack open a position for him. We have been able to just about lose them, and somebody is dead. That's the Red Bull car spinning on the exit of the carousel, which will definitely help us lose, the majority of this group. Nobody was hurt too much in that. He was able to climb back on track, and it doesn't seem like he had too much damage. Now we are on the tail of Simon for P4. So getting this one done would be nice because we are coming up on about halfway through this race pretty soon, and the car ahead has gained about a second to us. He's 4 seconds now. That's the podium, which is my true goal. I'm just trying to keep as much pressure as possible on this Dinoco McQueen car. Like, this is not a situation I really want to be in. I'm behind going into the kink, and it's going to kind of just be gifted to us. I guess just our presence was enough. Our sheer aura was enough to scare him almost into the dirt. So we pick up that position for free by doing nothing but just keeping our car on the track. And Joey is looking to follow us through. He's got these 2 guys ahead of him now. This is lap number 8 of 17. Still a very long way to go in the race. Again, approaching halfway of the race, so gonna have to start making some moves soon if Joey wants to keep up with us. And it looks like something may be cracked open here for him. Dinoco McQueen, just not the run he was looking for onto the straight, opening up space on the inside for car number 6, similar to what happened last lap, and he's going to play it safe. He's on the outside, backing out again, almost going into the dirt, ends up letting Joey through as well momentarily, but he's going to shoot back up, try and keep that space on the inside of the carousel. Joey's going around the outside, manages to hold the space. It's looking like a drag race towards the chicane, which is going to favor the car on the inside. Joey is the car on the outside, so this could be a bit sketchy for him. He does have a nose ahead, which should help tremendously, but really good on the brakes from car number 16, honestly, and he's kind of trying to put Joey in a tough spot there. Little bit of net code. They might have made contact either way. Joey ends up sliding ahead from that, and Dinoco McQueen is not happy with that. Just sends him flying off the track, and he's going to claim that position back. Joey was saying some unholy things in our voice chat when that happened. Just terrible, awful things that Joey was saying. And it's going to get worse for him going through the final corner as he follows Dinoco McQueen deep, but honestly has a worse go of it towards the end of that corner as he slides off the track. Car number 18 was far enough back that he's not going to put any pressure under Joey. There's a story going on here, okay? We'll get to it. Lap number 10, I want to highlight in the relative that P3 is currently 3 seconds away from me. Lap number 11, P3 is now 2 seconds away from me, so we gained a second that lap. So we should be 2 laps away from catching him. Now, Joey finds himself in a position on lap 12 to go around the outside once again towards that chicane. Car number 16, pretty similar situation. He's going to try and be a bit more assertive on this one, going deep, getting to that next apex, and solidifying that pass, as well as putting an extra little, like, half a second between them through that exit. So good stuff to him. Got it done cleanly. It can be frustrating having situations like that happen. Now, this is the battle between myself and P3 up ahead as we cross onto lap number 13. Once we got into slipstream range, we got sucked right up to him. We were gaining a lot of time, and I was expecting there to be some sort of battle. But look at the relative. Car in P19, Eduardo, is 1.7 seconds ahead of me. So he's about 1.5 seconds ahead of Daniel in P3. And my goal was to time this so that I could use the lapped car to get around Daniel. Do a little bit of multi-class racing going on here, and already we've caught up. I mean, Eduardo's now within a second, and we're heading towards the chicane, so it seemed like this was going to be the position to make it happen, as Eduardo is most likely going to slow down Daniel here. If he could get him stuck to one side of the track or the other, all I have to do is be present, stay far enough back that I am able to get a run and I'm not slowed down. So here we go, out of the chicane, and Daniel just did not have enough speed to use the outside of the track there, but he probably should have, because that would have blocked me off from doing exactly what I just did, as we get both of those moves done in one corner, and we are up into a podium position through the double right. This is my first opportunity to separate myself from Daniel, and it goes pretty well. That was my favorite corner by far. That double right-hander on Alton Park in this car feels so good. Daniel able to separate himself from the lapped car here, who is going to do something absurd, sliding out in the final corner, and he is going to rejoin the track just in time to do a nice little backwards maneuver right in front of Joey and cause a bit of damage to Joey's car. These cars are fortunately pretty tanky, and Joey's able to continue once again without quite being rivaled for a position there. But yeah, car number 19, very interesting maneuver to get back on track there. Final lap, and literally the final corner, I'm crossing the line. It was a P3. It was a pretty successful P3. 5 seconds behind P2, or maybe more than that. I don't really know. Joey crosses the line not too much longer in P6. We both had a decent recovery, I would say. Now, back to the beginning of the race, and this is Zach Height. Not quite sure how to say his name. We're going to hop on board with him for the beginning, and once the ball gets rolling, I'm just going to let the voice comms take over, because I don't think I need to say anything. Now, car number 9, really good launch from behind Zach and moves up ahead of him. That doesn't seem like a very important thing to happen, but it was. Now, heading towards the downhill left, and car number 9 kills the guy ahead of him. Zach decides to spin out as well. That is going to be the most crucial thing, I think, that happens to Zach this race, right there, because it pulls him back towards the very back of the pack, where car number 9 is making his way back through the group, and he's going to send a move up the inside. I don't think that Zach was very happy about that one. He's not going to get on the mic yet, but he is going to fire back in the very next corner, the first corner of the next lap, with a move up the inside, late braking, and you can see car number 9 kind of pulling back to the outside there to avoid that situation. Now, we're going to skip ahead to the chicane, and I'm going to let it play for a little bit just to give you context of what's going on. A lot of people not making the chicane in this instance, cutting across the track. That car that you're seeing kind of touch the rear end of Zach right now. This is, once again, car number 9. And his name is NEYA, N-E-Y-A. He's going to stay on the rear of Zach all of the way, heading towards that final corner where he made that move last lap. Zach trying to deter it, going semi-defensive, but NEYA is going to force it anyway. Pretty aggressive move. Zach's actually not saying anything yet. I think he's trying to.
What in the ever-living fuck are you doing, bro?
There he is.
What are these dives? Do you have any fucking idea how to drive? Let's talk about it.
2 laps in a row, Zach, huh? 2 races in a row.
I get that you bottled your start, bro, because you bottled everybody else's start in P1, but you don't need to dive like that. Like, you're driving like a fucking ape. Wah! Hey, I've had it out with you, bro. Like, I don't want to hear.
Boys, come on.
Race, dude. If you have a problem with me, mute me. I really don't care.
Your voice, man.
Bro, he's crying on the mic. What the fuck? Now, all of that happened pretty early on in the race. This is only lap 3, and NEYA looking for a really optimistic move. He's just going to kill this guy. Ends up collecting some damage and losing a bit of time there. I don't think he gives a fuck. He's crying on the mic. Moments later, car number 5 pit maneuvers the car ahead of him, and then that guy collects somebody else. I don't know. I guess this is just what was happening for a lot of this race. I feel like my race was very, very clean. I think I only crossed the line with like 4 or 5 incident points. Lap number 8, so skipping ahead quite a lot of time, and Zach is beginning to find his way back through the field. Now, I would say that a lot of what's happened so far has not really been his fault at all. This, sadly, is going to be the biggest mistake in this race for him, in terms of the consequences that it has. He slows down. I think he serves his slowdown, and as he's going past the car who he's just locked up tires to, the guy just sends him into the wall, just turns into him, and I mean, you can hear and see his engine exploding, so his car is absolutely cooked.
Enjoy your report, pal. Have a great rest of your night, dipshit.
I think that was pretty calmly said. Fuck, I forgot about that. Oh my god, dude, what the hell?